You're getting ready to buy a house, and when that happens, you're going to have an inspector come through and do a few different inspections on your house. Today I'm going to go through a sample inspection form that'll look similar to the one that you're going to get back. And I'm going to show you a bunch of red flags on that inspection form that will cause problems later on down the road. Get them addressed and taken care of in your inspection period and not like 5 days before closing and possibly run into delays or cancellations. It'll just save you a lot of headache in the long run. So let's get right into it. All right, this is a 4-point inspection form for a client that I was working with recently. We're getting ready to buy this house and the inspection came back. So this is the sample that I'm going to use to go over. I have all their information blacked out so you can't see it. The 4-point inspection is kind of like a summary inspection. It goes over the roof, the electrical, the AC, and the plumbing. This is actually the document that's going to be sent out to insurance companies when you go to lock down your home insurance. So the first part of this 4-point inspection is the electrical system. So now a lot of the things I talk about today are going to be the common issues and the standards for Northwest Florida. So in your area, it might be a little bit different, but this is what we have going on here. So if you're in a different area, this might be a little bit different, but a lot of it will still apply to you. Give me a highlighter. Let's see. For the brand of these panels, this brand is, you can see it's all Eaton brand and Siemens. If the brand is Challenger, there's a good chance the insurance company is not going to insure that because the Challenger brand panels have been known to have a fire hazard associated with them. So you're going to have to get those swapped out if they're Challenger. For wiring type, the inspector will let you know if it's copper, aluminum, or anything else. If there is aluminum wiring on that home, you're going to have a pretty hard time finding an insurance company that will bind a policy to that house. Oftentimes you don't have to rewire the entire house. That can be really expensive, like $30,000, $40,000. What you can do is have an electrician install, they're called Alumicon connectors, and they just create a junction between that aluminum wiring and whatever you want to connect the wiring to. The failure point for the aluminum wiring is often the connection points, so these Alumicon connectors just upgrade that connection. And there are some insurance companies that will insure a home with aluminum wiring just as long as it has those Alumicon connectors. Right here in the hazards present section, you want to look that over and see if there's any boxes that have been checked in there. If you have something checked like the double taps is pretty common, and corrosion, exposed wiring, there might be like a socket cover missing or something small like that. Those items aren't going to keep you from being able to get an insurance policy, but if you do have any hazards present in that box, it may just increase your insurance premium. So if you have an electrician come out and knock out a couple of those items, get everything repaired out of the hazards present box, then there's a good chance you'll be able to get a lower insurance premium. In the long term, definitely saves money. All right, next section is the AC system. Really, they're just going to look to make sure that everything is working. Not a lot comes up on there that's going to be an insurance problem. At least here in Florida, there's not a lot of wood burning stoves or space heaters as the primary heat source. We use the sun as our primary heat source here in Florida. But if there were any hazards present, like if any of these boxes were checked yes, you'd want to get those taken care of. All right, next section is the plumbing system, and there's just a few things that you really want to look for in here. This box right here, is there any indication of an active leak? Even if it is a drip under the sink, like a sink faucet dripping down under the cabinet there, 99% chance an insurance company will not even put a policy on that house because it has an active leak. I know it's small, doesn't really make sense, but if there's anything on the inspection, like a small leak like that where you think it's not a big deal, an insurance company is probably not going to put a policy on it. So if something like that comes up, make sure you get that handled. The location of the water heater doesn't really matter. This one's in the garage. If it's not inside the garage, like this one is in the garage right here. If it's not in the garage, make sure it has a drip pan. It's just a big metal pan that sits under the water heater in case water comes out of that top pressure relief valve and doesn't spill everywhere. Now this polybutylene right here, this is something that you want to look out for. Again, this is something small where even if it's just the lines under a sink, in this area of Florida, if an insurance company sees that you have polybutylene pipes anywhere in the house, they will not insure it. And that's one of those things where it might not come up during the sale of your home. It might come up a month or two after it closes and suddenly your insurance company drops you like that. So that's why we're talking about it here in this video, because these are things that you need to know about. All right, next section is the roof. I hear people saying all the time that an insurance company won't insure a house if the roof is 10 years or older. That is just Not true. It's just false. Insurance companies are looking at this number right here, the remaining useful life. Okay, this one is at 4 to 6 years. Once you start getting into the range of 3 to 4 years of useful remaining life, insurance companies are going to start raising your premium and possibly looking at not even insuring the home at all. The other big thing that insurance companies are going to be looking at is any signs of damage or deterioration right here. So things that come up a lot, the excessive granule loss, cupping and curling, missing cracked tabs. This isn't a 3-tab roof, this is an architectural roof. And then obviously any signs of leaks. If there's any leaks, even if it's just a vent pipe boot, major red flag. Obviously, whatever the inspector says for the overall condition, whether it be satisfactory or unsatisfactory, that's important as well. I hope this video was helpful for you. If it was, make sure you press thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.